College football week 4 is upon us. Week 4. That's crazy.
It's wild.
Absolutely wild. I can't believe we have made it to week 4. I said this last week, but now I'm going to say it, which is like we're like a quarter of the way through a season, which isn't true. I know we have the playoff, we have all kinds of stuff. So we're still early on, still making picks, still warming up. Did a little better last week. Pretty excited about that. We had a winning record for all of our wonderful listeners last week, so that's what matters. But we're going to dive right in. I'm excited. I get to go. Mike goes to Utah games and goes to college football stuff all the time. I'll be at the CU Baylor game this weekend, which feels like a winnable game for the Buffs at the very least. So that should be a lot of fun. Gonna have a good time there. Y'all going to anything? Do anything fun for the slate this weekend before we jump in?
I was gonna say I don't know, Eric. You tell me. Am I going to the game with you?
I don't have a ticket for you yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I might be going to the Baylor game.
I'm sitting at home stressing over this Utah Oklahoma State game. That's about it.
You didn't want to go to Stillwater?
Well, actually, I'm playing in a golf tournament before the game, or else I would have flown out there.
Nice.
So, do you guys have any action on the CU game?
Absolutely not. I refuse to bet on CU now until they show that they're a consistent team. I won't do it.
Fair.
I lean the over. I lean Baylor.
Too.
I lean Baylor plus 1.5. But
yeah,
I'm not. Neither one is a show bet, and neither one is one I'll probably actually put money on until I'm sure I'll live bet the game. I just don't know what that's going to be yet.
They're probably two very equal Pac-12 teams, which isn't saying much nice about either of them. So I think it actually could be a good game to go to. So
yeah, I like the over, man. I was at the Utah Baylor game, and before Cam got hurt, man, Baylor's defense was just very unimpressive.
Right.
So I think CU could just tear them apart. What they do on the other side of the ball, who knows? But I almost put a CU money line on my picks today just to see y'all's reaction.
I hope you are correct. I hope I hope CU does it, because if we're gonna get to a bowl game this year, this is one of the ones that has. They just have one of those schedules this year that like it has to happen to get the 6 wins, and this is one that has to happen. Like last week was, this week is one. It's an absolute must. So, all right, let's dive in. Let's not waste any more time. Let's kick off with Mike.
What are you going to say? Don't. We're talking about CU football. That's never a waste of time, Eric.
Is it though? Is it?
Things you never say.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, why don't you kick us off with your first pick? And I think you have to convince Stefan a little bit of this one, which is your Miami. The matchup in South Florida this weekend.
Yeah, man, they're playing in South Florida. I'm taking Miami minus 14. I teased it down to minus 145. Miami's offense has been insane, man. They've averaged 609 yards per game. Cam Moore's at the top of the Heisman race. He's already over 1,000 yards passing, 73% completion, and they've only given up 2 sacks. They beat Florida at the Swamp. I'm not convinced USF is actually a tougher place to play than the Swamp is going to be. Byron Brown for USF, he's a hell of an athlete, no question there. But as a passer, I'm not really seeing it, right? And you're going to have to be able to put up a lot of points against this Miami offense. USF is 78th in total defense and 94th in passing defense in the country right now. They've got a great rushing attack, 268 yards per game on the ground, but I think you've got to put the ball in the air against Miami to be able to keep up with them. If Miami can contain him, if they chill out on the pass rush a little bit and just put a spy on him, I think they win by 21 personally. As long as they can prevent that big play from the quarterback with his legs. But I feel pretty good about this one, but as also I teased it down. So do I really feel pretty good about it? I don't know.
Yo,
you feel good about this.
Cam Ward looks better than I expected at Miami.
100%.
I will give you that. Steve, do you have any counter arguments you'd like to discuss with the audience?
So my only fear is just it's quintessential bullshittery around college football. The letdown / look ahead spot. They start ACC play next week, hosting Virginia Tech. I know Virginia Tech's not been great, but that's still a big game on their schedule. USF should be not a huge test for Miami, but probably the toughest game they've played to date. So I'm just a little bit nervous about the number. I think Miami wins. I just worry a little bit about a backdoor cover, which, that -14, maybe that takes it off. I don't have a play against this. I just, if I was gonna play it, I liked USF at +17.5 earlier in the week. It's dropped down to 16.5 now, so it's not a play for me. But yeah, I just don't know what Miami. I don't know if Mario Cristobal is the type of dude that's like, keep your foot on the gas, let's go. Like we might see in some SEC games that we'll get to later on tonight.
That's fair. I'm not a cartographer, but if I'm familiar with this geography happening, USF is like in Tampa and Miami's in South Florida. So
who's the real USF?
That name's a little erroneous. I like the Miami revenge spot here for the naming of these universities. I like it. All right, Stefan.
No, that would be amazing if like Miami showed up with like we're the real USF.
We're the Southernmost University.
Yeah. All 12
UCF moment over there.
Yeah,
the 12 people that go to Miami games. So
funny. Stefan, why don't you kick us off with your first pick on the USC Michigan game?
Yeah, so I am really excited for this USC Michigan game. It's a Big Ten game that's been, circled on the calendar for a while. And while Michigan getting thumped by Texas maybe makes this game lose a little bit of its excitement, I don't think it should. To me, this is still a huge game. USC is one of the stories of college football this year. We talked about this. I talked about this with Travis the other day on Total College Football. Their defense has been actually impressive so far. Now, we're talking about LSU and Utah State, so I don't know what that means. But they shut out Utah State for the first shutout they've had in years. So I think this defense plays. I liked the under in this game earlier in the week. It's already dropped 2.5 points. It's now sitting at 45, which is just a little bit too low for me, but I still lean the under. But I think USC goes into Michigan and gets a win. I think they end up covering this fairly easily because Will Johnson might be the greatest cornerback in the country, but he is just one man. And USC is rolling out Hudson. They're rolling out Zachariah Branch. They're rolling out Mekhi Lemon, and the list goes on. Like Deuce Robinson. They've got so many fantastic wide receivers. I just think Lincoln Riley is going to be able to scheme this open. They're going to win the game. And Michigan just now decided on a starting quarterback, an Orji, who we know can't throw the ball. So I think this is going to be kind of a rock fight, but USC is going to come out on top. I see this one kind of like a 24-7 type thing. I don't know if Michigan scores much at all. Kind of like Texas game.
I agree. I almost made this a pick too. I think USC is gonna roll in that game. I'm gonna move us over. I'm going back to the well with Toledo. It felt like such an obvious pick. I think I covered this in like halfway through the second quarter last week. I'm going to take Toledo over 33.5 points. Toledo, their first 3 games of the season here, let me make sure I get these numbers right, have scored 41 against an SEC team in Mississippi State. I realize
is that an SEC team?
I understand. 41. They scored 38 against UMass, and they scored 49 against Duquesne. So, there's not much that Western Kentucky has done defensively. Western Kentucky lost 63-0 against Alabama, so put up 0 resistance. I realize that's Alabama. They blew out Eastern Kentucky, which isn't even a school that I thought had a football team. And then they let up 21 points to Middle Tennessee State. So, until Toledo shows me that they're going to score less than the mid-30s, I'm probably just going to keep picking Toledo to do this unless they go against some great defensive juggernaut. So that is my first pick, Toledo over 33.5. Mike, why don't you tell us about your next pick?
Yeah, I'm psyched for this game. Tennessee at Oklahoma. Give me Tennessee -6.5. Very similar story that we had with the Ole Miss conversation last week, but I'm kind of taking Tennessee until they prove me the wrong. Their offense is absolutely insane right now. On top of that, they have a stellar defensive line. Offensively, they're first in scoring in the country. They're third in rushing offense and second in total offense. Their toughest game to date was NC State, which there was kind of split half and half on who was taking Tennessee and who was taking NC State on that one. And they absolutely rolled 51-10 with 460 yards of total offense. And on the other side, they only gave up 143 yards.
And have a pick six.
That too. But Dylan Sampson, man, like on top of Iamaliava, like he's just rolling, man. 119 yards per game with 3 touchdowns per game. Like that's just wild. Oklahoma on the other side offensively is kind of a joke right now in a lot of ways. 114th in passing and 108th in total offense. They've gone 3 and out on 40% of their drives this season. They rank 109th in third down conversion rate. They only have 8 plays over 10 yards the entire season against Temple, Houston, and Tulane. Jackson Arnold's yet to throw for over 175 yards in a game. So I just don't think this offense can keep up. I understand that Oklahoma's defense is kind of their bread and butter. Venables has turned this into a defensive team, but this Tennessee offense is too good to be able to win the game on one side of the ball.
Yeah, I love it. I think we're going to be picking Tennessee to continue to make us money this season is the general storyline. And we were big on them in our SEC preview show. I think they are emerging as an SEC title contender.
Yeah. I had them as a 9-4 team in the SEC show, and now I'm like 11-1. Like they've just completely changed my thoughts on them across the board, which pains me to say as a Georgia fan because I absolutely hate Tennessee.
Yeah, y'all are supposed to not like them. You have like Chick-fil-A commercials about that shit.
Yeah, it's insane, but you've got to be a realist, I guess. If I hear Rocky talk one more time, I'm going to do something bad. I just can't do it.
That's funny. All right, well, Mike, Stefan, why don't you tell us about you also have a pick in the Tennessee-Oklahoma game? Are you doubling up on this? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I didn't know that Mike got it at 6.5. I have it at 7. So if I can get a 6.5, I'll happily take it. But I like it at -7. This is a game that personally, not for the show purposes, but personally, I'm going to be doing a ladder on it. I'm going to take Tennessee as far as I can swipe over to the side. Probably like -16.5, I'm guessing. But I'm going to play it because I don't think this is a good matchup for Oklahoma. Fun fact that has nothing to do with anything relevant other than the very first college football game I ever went to was in Oklahoma. I watched the Sooners lose to TCU when TCU was still in the Mountain West. So don't tell me Oklahoma is a tough place to play. Don't tell me you can't come into Soonerville and get the win on the field. I've seen it happen with these two eyes. So I'm taking Tennessee. I just like all the things you said are absolutely correct, Mike. This team is incredible. I do like the fact, well, I don't like it for my bet, but I like it for the competitive nature of this game. Nick Anderson is supposed to be back, wide receiver for Oklahoma. That should help their game. He's a top 10 wide receiver in all of college football right now. So, with him and Burks, maybe they can get things going. But Jackson Arnold has looked a little underwhelming. He looks like maybe the moment's still a bit too big for him. He's still young. Like I think he's only a true sophomore. So we can expect growth, but not against this Tennessee team. This defense is too tough. This running game with Dylan Sampson, like you were talking about, I think is going to be the difference in this game. Give me Tennessee -7. And yeah, I'm going to ladder this baby.
Man, anytime I make a pick with Tennessee, my brain flashes back to the Georgia-Tennessee game in 2012, where there were 3 Hail Marys back to back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Failed at that one. Man. It's interesting. You look back at that roster that was Sonny Michel, Alvin Kamara, Riley Ridley. Like there were some dudes on those teams.
Oh my God, Riley!
This feels like a core memory for you, Mike.
Dude, Riley Ridley. So I was working for RotoViz at the time, and my podcast co-host hated Riley Ridley more than any other player because he's like, he is the most overrated. He's never going to succeed. Riley Ridley's a joke, and so I just love that we're talking about him tonight. Shout out to you, Matt Wispay.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. All right, let's keep this train rolling. We've talked about Tennessee and Oklahoma enough. I'm going to give you my second pick. Wyoming at North Texas. North Texas used to be this big under team, even as like 3 or 4 years ago. They've had a coaching change since then. North Texas is on a roll, currently at 3-0. Wyoming is 0-3 with a blowout loss against Arizona State. Lost at home against the Idaho Vandals, only scored 13 points there. Only scored 14 points at home against BYU. Now they're traveling to North Texas, which I was going to say is in Amarillo, but if I'm going to be honest, I have no idea where
it's
North
in
Texas
Denton.
is. Is it?
Denton,
Okay,
Texas, just
cool.
north of
Denton.
Dallas.
There's nothing in Amarillo. Let's just be clear.
I've driven through Amarillo. That's about all I know of it. So yeah, we got UNT here. They have won their games. They've scored 35, 21, and 52 points in their first 3 games. Their losses to Texas Tech, expecting to lose to a team like Texas Tech. So I think North Texas is going to beat the brakes off of Wyoming. There, you get a quote unquote bigger school coming to your hometown in Texas. Man, give me -9 all day. I would ladder this too. Like, I think North Texas is going to put it on Wyoming. Wyoming is a very bad team and one I will continue to bet against. Stefan,
as the former coach of Wyoming, I just like to share a few thoughts.
What is happening to your team?
in the college football video game, in the career that we all are doing together, I'm Wyoming, or was. I've moved on to better things. But Wiley was my main dude. Hardcore power running back, fast, the offense. He's injured. He's injured in real life. So like Wyoming doesn't have their secret weapon, and that's why they suck so much. So yeah, even I would have lost with this Wyoming team.
Yeah. This is one of my most confident bets for the weekend. I absolutely love it. Mike, why don't you take us home? Why don't you take your third pick going back to the SEC with Vanderbilt and Missouri?
Yeah,
and tell me why Diego Pavia isn't going to cover 20 points against Missouri.
I'll be happy to. So give me Mizzou -20.5. Last week, we had Mizzou. They didn't cover against Boston College, but Boston College, they're no slouch this year. Their defense really isn't terrible.
I think they're 3-0 ATS right now.
Yeah. Well, and as I was looking into this, what kind of shocked me is they're ranked like 31st in explosive plays right now. Like, they're getting the ball down the field. The defensively, Mizzou, they gave up 3 touchdowns to them, and 2 of those were over 38 yards through those explosive plays. But Vandy's 105th in explosive plays on the year. So like, they're just going to be dinking and dunking and running, and I just don't see that being enough to get past this defense. They gave up 426 yards to Georgia State, who didn't even put that up against Chattanooga the week prior. Vandy has looked, they've looked better at times this year, but it's not going to be enough to cover this. Mizzou's first conference game at home. I like this a lot.
Guys, we have the Vandy over 3 wins because we recognize we're probably going to push that bet. But they were looking great with their upset to start the year. Yeah. And then they went and lost to who'd they lose to last week? They lost this last week to a team, Georgia State. We were like, oh man, that's like one of their 3 wins. So now I'm pretty nervous about our over 3 bet is back to neutral. After that, it's a little scary for me.
And don't forget we have the under 1 conference win too. So
yes,
that's right. Still very much alive.
Let's go. Let's go Mizzou Tigers. All right, Stefan, why don't you take us?
We're real quick. I gotta say, I love you, Mike, and you're smarter than me. But this is another one. I was almost on Vandy plus 21.5.
That's only because you lost your bet last week.
I know, possibly. That's why I didn't play it. It's also because it's a big number, and Pavia is just so much fun. So
he is fun. I'll give you that. He's absolutely
when he's not peeing on his
no, that's when he's the most fun. That's when he's the most fun.
All right.
That's the dude you want to hang out with at the party.
Speaking of fun, we need to give a salute to our general,
Yes.
General Booty. Why don't you take us there, Stefan, as to
Listen.
why we're taking General Booty this weekend?
Listen, ULM is going to Austin to play against this Texas team that is now ranked number 1 in the country. But put some goddamn respect on General Booty's name. Plus 45 is a number I will happily take. 45 points, Texas minus 45. When, yes, Arch Manning is very, very excellent. Not very, very good, very excellent. He is right there with Quinn Ewers. There's not much drop off. However, do you know who the 3rd string quarterback is? Fuck, I don't either. I don't either. That's my point. Like, you don't want to lose Arch, like you can't go down both your quarterbacks. So I think they go up big early. I think we see like a 38-3 halftime, and then they just pull everyone. And ULM is not as bad as they have been. Their coach, this is his first year there. He is an up and coming dude. So like, I just think this number's too big. Give me plus 45 with the General.
I like it, man. 40. That's just a lot of points for anybody. I don't care what the game is.
I totally agree. I think ULM is not anymore the absolute worst team like they were 2 seasons ago when we were talking about them maybe. So yeah, I love it. We gotta roll with our General Booty here, and best name in college football. All right, I'm gonna give you the last pick of the day. Give me Tulane -3 against Louisiana. This is a school that is being talked about to move to the Pac-12 because they are an up and coming school. Look, they are 1-2.
They should have beat Kansas State. Come on,
right? That's what I'm saying. It's like they are 1-2.
Yeah.
But they are 1-2 because they played Kansas State, who they almost fucking beat, and Oklahoma, who they didn't do as great against. But you know what? Like, those are their 2 teams. They're playing the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns, who are like they can be a decent football team, who are 3-0, right? However, they're 2-0. They've only played 2 games. They've played Grambling State and Kennesaw State, which is arguably the worst college football team in the entire country. So you have a Tulane team coming in who has played top SEC and Big 12 talent and held with the Big 12, coming against a team that has played like below the worst talent you could have. Tulane's going to roll these guys. Give me Tulane -3 in Louisiana. I don't even know where in Louisiana they play. Mike, you're from the South. Where's other places in Louisiana besides New Orleans? I don't know where Louisiana.
I think it's in Lafayette, right?
Okay. Man, don't ask. Louisiana.
You're like, us Southern people don't know everything.
Its own country.
Yeah. So give me Tulane -3. All right. Don't forget.
It is in Lafayette. I was right.
Lafayette,
Let's go.
Louisiana.
Boom.
Lafayette. All right. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X, and wherever you get any of your podcasts. Hit all the positive buttons for us, like, subscribe, comment, all the good things. This is the part of the show where we run down our picks. And Mike, I believe we're going to start with you. Then I'll give you my picks, and Stefan will finish us off.
Yeah, so I'm taking Miami -14 at South Florida, Tennessee -6.5 at Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt at Missouri -20.
Nice. Give me Toledo over 33.5 points against Western Kentucky. Wyoming at North Texas. Give me North Texas -9. Tulane, give me them -3 at the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns.
I like it. I'm going to go with USC -5.5 at Michigan. We're going to go Tennessee. I got them at -7 at Oklahoma at -115 because I don't need no points. And then give me ULM and the General at +45 at Texas.
I love it. That's how we're gonna make money. We are only on the incline. Here,
we only take underdogs when they give us 45 points. Otherwise, give us the favorites.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will see you in our NFL show. See you later.